Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Puck Drops here, episode 2 of the Grading GPA National Hockey League Teams series. This time we're doing the Arizona Coyotes. We did the Anaheim Ducks previously. Just check for episode 1. This is episode 2. We will, as I said, go through center depth. We will go through defense. We will go through wings. And we will also go through goaltenders and coaches and management. So we look at the record of the Coyotes this season, and it was much improved from last year where they were dead last in the Pacific Division. This year, fourth in the Pacific Division with 39 wins and 35 losses and 86 points, and the last team in the Western Conference to be eliminated from playoff contention. They were just there, and this was a squad that was dealt a myriad of injuries, a just crazy amount. And so we'll look at the centers. Nick Cousins is a young kid that was supposed to be a complementary type player that was brought in. And of course, yes, we'll go through great players, older players that maybe need to change or should be dealt, or big young stars. Nick Cousins is a 25-year-old guy who's supposed to be a complementary piece there. He's made a kind of down year last year because of injuries, but he's a really stellar player for them. He played in 81 games played, so not exactly injuries, but 7 goals and 20 assists, as well as 27 points. Not great, but he was kind of battling his way through at center depth. He's more of a face-off winner, which he did at an extreme percentage this year. We'll take a look at Christian Dvorak, who was one of their picks a few years ago, and he only played in 20 games this year. Highly injured center, but 2 goals, 5 assists, and 7 points isn't bad. And he also scored a game winner in one of the regular season games that they had. There's been a good center they've got down there in Phoenix. And then Galchenyuk was the star piece of the offseason. They had him with the team-in-team trade with Max Domi with the Montreal Canadiens. And a 25-year-old center, he's been a key piece, 72 games played, and he was injured for a good stretch of the year. 19 goals and 22 assists and 41 points. He was one of their key pieces, as well as Vinny Hinostroza, who was one of the players that were dealt as well. And another 25-year-older, 39 points with 72 games played, 16 goals and 23 assists. A good amount for him. And then back to centers. And then the Calder Trophy runner-up, Clayton Keller from last year, only a 20-year-old center, but he played in every single game this season. He scored 14 goals and 33 assists, a 47-point guy. And so even though there were some, and Nick Schmaltz, who was traded from the Chicago Blackhawks, he only played for 40 games and only about 12 games for the Coyotes, but he had 7 goals and 18 assists, 25 points. It was a good season for him, and he was injured for most of the year, so it's only going to get better. And then, of course, Brad Richardson, who had played well. He's an older guy, but with 66 games played and 27 points, decent enough. And then the big leaders they got from the trade with the New York Rangers a few years ago, Derek Stepan. And he only missed 8 games, and he scored 15 goals and 20 assists, 35 points. A good total for the centers, and I really like what they did. And they were injured a lot, but they won faceoffs. They were good in that area. Really an excellent scoring bunch, especially in the passes, the dishes, the assist factor. Definitely guys that you needed to have, and so I put them at a 3.1 GPA grade for the centers. So look at the wingers. Josh Archibald from Spokane. He played 68 games with 12 goals and 10 assists, 22 points. A good player. Fisher was, along with Grabner, two of their guys that had played well. Fisher actually had a down year. Connor Garland, another down year winger. So a lot of injuries were really one of the parts, along with Richard Panik, another former Blackhawk. And he had 33 points with 19 apples and 14 goals. The wingers did not play as well as the centers did, and that was why you would have a lightning power play that would cool off later in the year. It was amazing penalty kill, amazing power play. Started off as their only scoring machine when the year started, but it dipped down, and it was because the wingers were not finding ways to score as you need to do as a playoff team. Overall, I would put the wingers at a 2.3 GPA for them. Now we go to the defense now. And this is a stat. This is a lineup that the Coyotes have really tried to nurse for so long. You look at a young player that they've got that they pulled in late in the year. He's really done well. Kyle Capobanco. He played in 2 games, no points. And he had 1 shot on goal, but he was played late in the year. And he has the potential to be a great player in the blue line for them. Jakob Chychrun, 21-year-old defenseman from Florida. 53 games played, 5 goals and 15 assists, 20 points for a D-man. With only 53 games played. Huge player for them. Mason Demers, of course, the captain. Ekman Larson, former star Goligoski. But Ekman Larson played in every single game except for 1. And he had 44 points, which is decent. And Jomerson, the ex-Blackhawk, another one. No goals, but 10 assists, 10 points. Decent amount. All of them playing every game for the Arizona Coyotes. I like what they have along with Osterley. I like the defensemen, all the defensemen that the Coyotes have. Even though they didn't play well, I think they could get healthier and they could play even better next year. So I would put them at about a 2.9. Look at goaltenders. This is something that blew me away. Antti Raanta was their guy. They got rid of the goaltenders that they had last year, and they got Antti Raanta to be the man to lead them into the promised land. They were set, but he got injured midway into the season with only 12 games played, 5 wins and 6 losses, and a goalie average of 2.88 and a save percentage of .906. Pretty good, but he was highly injured, and Calvin Pickard was their backup, who played decent. But the real story is, as injured they were at the goalie position, Darcy Kemper, 28-year-old kid from Saskatoon, 55 games played, a whopping amount, and 55 games started, with 27 wins and 20 losses. But most of those wins came with him as the best player. He played in 8 overtime games, and a goalie average of 2.33 and a save percentage of .925. Just, he stood in his head, and he put the Coyotes through games. I love what the goaltending had to do. Because of injuries, I'm only going to put them at a 3, but they're so much higher than that in GPA because of how Darcy Kemper did. And this goaltending unit's only going to get better. In way of coaching, what can I say about Rick Tocchet? He played the league for a long time, a former Flyer and Coyote, so he knows the program. But he dealt with a team that needed to break through. They didn't make the playoffs, but it started in the doldrums of the National Hockey League, and it was able to keep a special teams unit going. And with dreadful injuries to defensemen and forwards and goalies, only one player in the entire unit, Nicholas Hjalmarsson, playing all 82 games, found a way to keep the Coyotes into the second to last day of the regular season in the playoff hunt. And wow, what a season it was. Rick Tocchet and the coaching staff, they've got a wonderful coaching staff. I'm going to put them in a 3.5 for the work they did. Unbelievable. For for the management in Shaika, John Shaika, the young 31-year-old general management and manager team of the Arizona Coyotes, in a non-hockey market, the way they're able to get players and the way they're able to recruit players who are not highly ranked and get guys in their system to come through, as they did with Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Clayton Keller, it says a lot. And for a team to just not to buy a piece that would leave them in the trade deadline and to just go through their system, just hunt for the playoffs the way they did. Remarkable story for the Arizona Coyotes. I love it. I would also place John Shaika and his staff at 3.5 GPA for them. A player that's got to get to that level is Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He scored a lot of goals. He's got a lot of points, but he needs to get to an Erik Karlsson level where he's one of the top guys you fear every night. And I don't fear that from Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I don't see him being traded. I see him being the captain of this team for a long time. But he's got to step up and become from a great player to an elite player, an elite defenseman. Young player I really like is that Keller is young, but I really think that Kyle Caponacco has a super chance to be an insane defenseman in this league. I love what they've got from him. So for that, overall GPA would give the Coyotes I would give them a 2.9. Almost at a 3, but I would have to see them in the postseason. I think they're going to improve. They're probably a playoff team next year. What a season for them, and what a year for the Coyotes brass. But they got to make that next step, get in the playoffs, and see if they can win. Try to get to the playoffs the first time since 2011 to 12. Hopefully they would make it a little longer than that. So it's the end of my second video of the Arizona Coyotes GPA grading. Tell me if you guys like it. If not, like again, sub, watch the videos, tell me how you think, comment what you think, what can be improved. And so see you guys later. Happy hockey.